I'm standing here on the corner of College Hill, Locust and Union Street in Valparaiso, Indiana. And even on this cold day, I'm actually in a desert, a food desert. A food desert exists when you're living 2 or more miles away from the nearest grocery store. The nearest grocery store to the Hilltop neighborhood is actually 7-Eleven, and that's a very expensive store, and they sell mostly unhealthy foods that you would need to eat on a regular basis. So we have our Hilltop Food Pantry at 606 Union.
I'm a retiree. I live on a fixed income. And I don't get a whole lot of money from SSI. I'll tell you what, I'm like everybody else on SSI. Payday, you go to the store, you buy what you can. And like everybody else on SSI, 2 weeks later, you're broke. The pantry being here in the neighborhood, it's close, it's convenient. I mean, for me to go to the grocery store, I have to spend money to get there. I have to spend money to get home. And the pantry being right here locally in the neighborhood, it's not a long way to go. I don't drive. I walk everywhere I go. And I have a disability in my foot, so walking is kind of a rough issue.
Believe it or not, I'm actually standing in another food desert right here. This is the Washington Square neighborhood. This was one of the up-and-coming neighborhoods when I was a kid, and we actually moved here in the 70s, and we built a new home, and my parents were doing great, and then circumstances grew, and my mom became a single mom, and believe it or not, we didn't have a working car, and we used to actually have to walk from here into town to get groceries. The closest store was Miller's Mart, several miles away, so all of us would walk with her, bags in hand, to get groceries from Miller's Mart and back. She was a hardworking lady, did a lot of really good things, but when it came to money, we always had to make things stretch to make our ends meet. You can live in a nice home and a nice neighborhood and still be food insecure. One of the many things we do at the Hilltop Food Pantry is we actually track and mark where all of our pantry clients live. And we have created this little dot matrix charts that shows you that not everybody comes from the same neighborhood. Food insecure families are all over Valparaiso. In fact, all over Porter County, and some of them are even outside of Porter County. But the several hundred clients that we feed every month come from every neighborhood, everywhere.
Well, when you can't, when you don't have access to everything, like a stove or a refrigerator, a stove or an oven or and you get tired of living out of a microwave or a hot plate or, it's very, very tough.
Hilltop began in 1995 when the VU faculty and staff noticed the need for affordable childcare. It was also noticed that there was food insecurity in the community, and that was what began with a small little closet filled with food that patrons could take whenever it was needed. It was clearly outgrown very quickly, and we moved to Union Community Church, where we rented that facility for 15 years. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, we had to move that to Locust Street in a basement, which in 2018 was flooded. After that, the community really rallied behind Hilltop. It did help. There was a national press article raising more than $250,000 very quickly. Hilltop is known as many things to this community. Yes, it is a child care facility, but we also open the community garden where the children learn how to grow their own food. We are also known as a food pantry. And now I'm really excited to say that we're going to be known as a soup kitchen as well for this community.
Well, when people don't have access to food or the right foods, it can certainly take a toll on their physical health, their mental health, and that just, goes down the line into potentially diagnosis of chronic health conditions, potentially not being able to control or maintain already diagnosed chronic health conditions. Let's take diabetes, for example. If someone can't access food, they certainly aren't going to put monitoring their blood sugar or taking their medications as a high priority. Food is going to be their first priority. And it just, creates a ripple effect, and people may end up sick, they may end up in the hospital, and it's a vicious cycle. And I'm not saying that, providing food is going to solve all of those problems, but it's certainly going to help and be a good start into putting people and our community in a better situation.
What we have found with the food insecurity in Valpo, and especially in this neighborhood, we have not been able to service everybody we need. A lot of places don't have, we can give them food, but they have no place to cook it, or they don't have the facilities to cook it. So what we really needed was some place for people to come in, sit down, and have a hot meal. What we're hoping to have it open is 3 days a week. We may have to start out with 2 to 3 to see how well it's received and the need. You know, we'll adjust accordingly to the need. If it needs to be open more, we'll keep it open more.
I truly think that the Mission Kitchen has the potential to do so much. The direct benefits are obviously there. So putting good food in bellies that need it and bringing together a support system for people who need it is there. But I think perhaps the more important thing is the indirect benefits that we're going to get from the Mission Kitchen, which goes back to, you know, improving chronic health conditions, improving substance use disorder, because by putting food in front of people that need it and taking away like that fear of having food or having the right foods lets people have a better quality of life. It lets them focus on those things that are important, whatever that may be. It could be improving their health. It could be, you know, getting into recovery, or, you know, whatever else it may be that it's going to allow that person to live a more fulfilling life.
The kitchen is going to be a great addition to the neighborhood. As you know, as many people as I see come and go to the pantry, obviously there's a lot of people in town that are hurting. Especially, you know, like in my building and the other buildings around here, surrounding buildings. These people are going to need some help. We all need help.
We actually have some of our Hilltop Food Pantry clients who live here next to the dumpsters, covered behind a Valparaiso apartment complex, who come to the pantry. And yes, there are some services for folks to sleep at night. Some choose to stay outside. But as you can see here, there's no cooking facilities. There's nowhere for them to heat up their food or keep their food cold in the winter. And that's why we're building the soup kitchen. So our friend who lives here can actually come 3 nights a week over to the Hilltop Mission Kitchen and get a hot meal. And then he'll return to his house. You know, food insecure families live everywhere. They live in houses, they live in apartments, they live in mobile homes, and they live here. The Hilltop Mission Kitchen is being built by the hands of many. Our purpose is to feed those who are food insecure a warm, hot meal. We need you, the people of Valpo, to come out and help us. We need your time, talent, and treasure. If you can cook, if you can smile, if you can carry a dish, we need you at the Hilltop Mission Kitchen.